Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about how to send an email using Python, right? So we'll start by importing SMTP This module we will use this module to send the emails, right? To open connection with SMTP server, then we'll be able to send the email. Then you can now specify our configurations, right? We'll start by we are going to use a Gmail email service, right? So if you're using Gmail email service, you're going to let me set up. Yeah, the SMTP server for Gmail email service is smtp.gmail.com. Then the port, I'm going to use port 587. There's two secure protocols here. There is security protocols. There is TLS and there is SSL. So if you're using TLS, you'll specify your port as 587. If you're going to use SSL as your security protocol, you're going to specify your port as 465. We'll start using TLS first, then you go to SSL, right? So after specifying the port, send an email. For send an email, I'm going to get the email from my environment variable. If you have any sensitive data, you should store it in the environment variable. Environ.get. Then I've stored it as email address. Then the receiver email. The receiver email can be a list or a string depending on the number of receivers that you're going to send to. So for me to just be a string, I'm sending it to my email account. Then after that, password, of course, same as password, sensitive data. I've stored it in my environment variable. Sorry, so it is email password. I think that's it. Now we can compose our message, the message that we will send to the receiver. And for this case, it's going to be a string. I'll start with a string, then we go to a more advanced way to compose a message, right? So subject, specify subject, saying this is test email. And then the content itself, this is email content. And also I forgot to say that in password, I've used an app password, right? We have generated an app password because my Gmail account, we have enabled two-step verification, which I highly recommend. You should enable two-step verification in your Gmail account, in your Google account, so that it's a more secure way to protect your account. So I've enabled two-step verification in my account. That's why I'm going to use an app password in less secure apps like my Python script here. Let me show how I've generated an app password. You can go to the search engine. Okay. And type Google app passwords. Okay, the machine is a bit slow. Google app passwords. Sorry about this. Okay, so it loads, let's continue. I'm coming back there. We've already composed our message. Now we can open our connection with the SMTP server, right? So with smtp lib.smtp, we can now the host, the server that you're going to use, which is the Gmail server, the SMTP server. Then the port, specify the port, right? So in our case, we're using port 587 because we want to start with TLS first, then we go to SSL. Let's say SMTP, can be any, just a variable. Excuse me. Then after that, we can now call. Let me show you. There's a method which we're supposed to call, but it's not a must to call it. It's being called by this method which I'm going to specify here. Start TLS. So the EHLO method is not a must for you to call it. You can leave it out, you can omit it, but you can just call it explicitly, you know. Then after doing that, we can now authenticate ourselves with the SMTP server. So we log in, and then of course we give our username, which is sender email, and the password. Yeah, I'm using this sender email here and the password here. Yeah. So after logging in, we can now send the email, right? smtp.send email. Yeah, for send email, of course you have to specify from. Who is it from? It's from the sender email. Then who is the receiver? The receiver, as I've said, it can be a string or a list. Then the message now, yeah, passing the message right there. Yeah, I think that's it. We can now try and send it. Okay, it's gone. Let's check our email account. Right, it's working. It's okay. Then for the Google app passwords, as I've said, to generate your app password, you can click on this link here. Then I'm required to sign into my account. Then you come and click. For my case, I'm using this app password which I already generated. Come and click mail. Then select the device which you're using. For my case, I'm using a Windows machine, so I click Windows computer. Then I click generate. It will generate an app password. For your case, you copy it. Then you come and paste it right here. You come and paste it there. But again, it's sensitive data. You can store it in an environment variable. Like in my case, I've stored it in an environment variable, email password, right? Yeah. And again, for you to generate app password, you should enable two-step verification, right? If you have not enabled two-step verification in your Google account, you should enable it first, then you'll be able to generate app passwords. Okay. Yeah, for the test email, it works. So now let's try a more advanced way to generate our message, right? We're using a string at first. Now let's use a package called email. So from email.message import email message. Okay, now let's create an instance of that class. Okay, then now we treat it like a dictionary. So like we pass subject, for the subject you can just select before, just email. Then we also specify the to and from. It's from who to who. So from, who's it from? It's from the sender email, right? Then also specify to receiver. Okay, after doing that, we can now try and okay, now we need to compose our message, right? For our case, I'm going for when we use the instance of email message, we'll now use an HTML as our content, so our email content as an email message, right? So in this case, this is my HTML template, which is going to be sent to the user. So let's access that file. Let's access the content of that file. So with open index HTML SF, then let's get the content. Okay, after doing that, we can now message.add alternative. We add the content in there. Then you also need to specify subtype so that you can know that this is HTML. Yeah, I think that's it. So what we have done here, we've just composed our message using the instance of email message. Then we've specified subject, from, and to. Then again, we've accessed the content of this file right here. Then we've added it to our message instance, right? But again, when we use an instance of email message, we'll need to come and change down here. Instead of using smtp.sendMail, we will use smtp.sendMessage. That is if you're using an instance of email message. So we'll just pass only the message because we've already specified from and to right down up here. If we did not specify the from and to up here, we'll need to pass the sender email and the receiver email. Okay, so let's send. Okay, it's gone. Let's refresh. Yeah, this one here, the template, the email template. For your case, you can beautify it how you want, depending on maybe your website which you're using, something like that. Beautify how you want. So it worked. Okay, so now let's change from TLS to SSL, right? We've been using TLS, right? So now let's use SSL. For TLS, as I've said, you use port 4587, right? For TLS, you use port 587. But for SSL, use port 465, right? So now let's use SSL. It's our security protocol, which will be used to encrypt our connection with the SMTP server so that there'll be no one accessing it in the middle, accessing our content in the middle. So port 465. Then we'll also need to change. Instead of using SMTP, we'll use SMTP SSL. And then we will need to comment these lines we don't need. This is for only SSL. Then of course we need to log into SMTP server. Then we send the message. So let's see if it works. Yeah, the message has gone. Let's refresh. Yeah, here it is, same. So it worked. SMTP, TLS, you can use either. Okay, so I think, yeah, okay. And also you can see I have an image here. Yeah, that's the image. We're going to attach an image to our email content so that you can send it to a receiver. right? So to attach an image, first you need to, of course, to access that image, you need to open the image. So what's the name of the image? JPEG. We're going to open it in RB mode. So since it's binary data, this image can use any. Then of course we want the data, the file data, which is image.read, which is the binary data, right? Then you also need the file name, because when you send it to the user, the name read.jpg displayed, it's been displayed. So the file name is image.name. And then I think that's it. We can now attach it to our message. Let's add attachment. Add attachment. Then we can now pass in the data, of course, it's a binary data. Then we also need to specify main type argument, right? For this case, it's image, right? Also need to specify subtype. For this case, it's JPEG, right? So you can see here, it's JPEG. Then you also need to specify the file name. So file name. I think that will be it. We've attached our image to our message. So let's try sending it again. Yep, it's gone. Let's refresh. Yeah, here it is, read.jpg. If you do not insert the file name, we will not see the name. It should be untitled, right? So it works. We have the email template and the image itself there, right there. So we have attached an image to our image HTML content to our message. Okay, the last thing I'd like to show you is using a local SMTP debugging server. So that, like, let's say you want to send compose a message to send to a user, to the receiver email. You'll first want to see if there's any errors or something like that, right? So you'll need a debugging server. Let me show you how we can utilize that. I have the command pasted right here, so I'll just copy it. So you need to run this command, right? Python -m smtpd -c debugging server -n localhost is our SMTP server, port 1025. Then you click enter. Okay, the debugging server is online. Then you can now come and change from, you're not using Gmail, right? You're using our local host as our SMTP server. So I'll change this to localhost, and as you have seen right here, port 1025, right? Oops, sorry, thought I copied. Port 1025. And then we also need to change something down here. It's our local machine, it's our local host, so we don't need to log in, of course. And also we need to just leave it as SMTP. Yeah, I think that will be it. Now let's send. Okay, it's done. Okay, because of the image, this is binary data. Because of the image, I should have excluded it. Yeah, yeah, it's very long. Let me just exclude the image. Let's not attach the image to our content. Then we send again. Yeah, here it is. You can see here's the message. Yeah, it works okay. That's how it should work. So from here I was looking for this subject. This is the subject, from, to, and then now the content itself, which is your HTML content. If it is a plain text email, you'll see the plain text right here. Depending on the type you just sending. If it's plain text, it will be just plain text. If it's HTML, just be HTML like here. So I think that will be it for this video. Hope you've learned something. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and comment about the video down below. Thank you.